Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Frozen 2, featuring the voices of Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Josh Gad, Jonathan Groff, Sterling K. Brown, Evan Rachel Wood, Alfred Molina, Martha Plimpton, and Jason Ritter, and directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee. Now, let's just get into this movie because, yeah. The film opens with young Anna and Elsa playing a game with Elsa's snow creations in an enchanted forest of their creation. King Agnar, voiced by Alfred Molina, and Queen Iduna, voiced by Evan Rachel Wood, enter, and Agnar tells the girls he has seen an enchanted forest in real life. In his youth, he joined his father, King Runard, and other Arendalian soldiers to venture into the enchanted forest where they came to know the four spirits of the forest: earth, fire, water, and air. And that reminded me of the god-awful Last Airbender movie, might I add. And that's not a good thing. Suddenly the forest inhabitants, the North Uldra, started attacking the Arendalians, and Agnar lost his father before losing consciousness. He recalls being saved by a mysterious being. After he finishes his story, Iduna sings a lullaby to the girls. And I'm not crazy for musicals. I'm just gonna say it now. I'm also not crazy for the new songs, but the story was kind of neat for the plot. In the present day, Elsa, returning voice of Idina Menzel, hears a melodic voice calling out to her, but nobody else can hear the sound. Anna, returning the voice of Kristen Bell, joins Olaf, returning voice of Gad, outside as he contemplates changes around him. Anna isn't bothered by the changes around him. Anna isn't bothered by changes because she has all the people she loves. Meanwhile, Kristoff, returning voice of Jonathan Groff, tells Sven that he is planning on proposing to Anna, and that honestly goes a little too far into the plot, and the characters are fine at best, and like last time, they're likable at best. Later that night, the gang plays charades together, but Elsa hears the voice calling out to her again. Distressed, she leaves the room. Kristoff tries to find a good time to propose to Anna, but she is more concerned with how Elsa is acting, after assuring her sister she is going to be fine. They go to bed, and a couple of things I found funny. 1. They're playing a game I remember as a kid, charades, where they're guessing what it is. And 2, Olaf says Sven is going to tell him a bedtime story, but doesn't Olaf know Sven does not talk, and that's what was the most hilarious thing I can think of. The voice continues to call Elsa through the night, leading her to leave her room and wonder what is it that is calling her, and how she wants to learn more about it, and the popular song Into the Unknown, sung by Elsa, I just can't get out of my mind. I mean, I'm sure it's a good song, but I'm not crazy about it. The magic around her shows her images of mysterious creatures. Suddenly, Arendelle begins to experience strange occurrences. A strong wind blows into the kingdom. The waterfront from the fountains drain out. The fire from the lanterns go out, and the earth begins to tremble fiercely. Elsa helps lead the citizens to higher ground, and I'm not finding this as good as the plot to last time. And it's a shame, but we'll see how I like it by the end of the show. The gang meets with Grandpappy, voiced by Kieran Hines. And yes, he was in the last movie. I failed to bring him up, even though I did bring him up briefly. And the other trolls. He tells the sisters that the spirits of the enchanted forest are angered over a wrongdoing that must be corrected, or else Arendale's future will be in jeopardy, Elsa decides she must set off on her own to fix it, but Anna refuses to let her go alone. Naturally, Kristoff, Sven, and Olaf joins as well. We lead to adventures I'm not too fond of, but we have to get them, so here we go. Everyone travels far from Arendelle until they eventually reach the outside of the enchanted forest, which is surrounded by a gigantic mist that they are pulled inside and find themselves unable to get out. The groups get separated from each other, with Olaf wandering by himself and not understanding the weird things happening in the forest. A tornado created by the air spirit pulls everyone away, but Elsa tries to stop it with her powers. In the midst of everything, she sees what looks like images of memories shown through water. She freezes these images without that looks like a young Agnar and the Northodra girl that saved him. The air spirits appear to calm down, gently blowing across the group, and Olaf even names it Gale. And I like the tornado, and the animation is visuals of the forest. But don't get me wrong, it looks great, but Olaf being briefly on his own did remind me of that short Olaf's Frozen Adventure that premiered before Coco, the Pixar film. And the reason that's not a good thing, because that short movie was bad, and I didn't want to see Olaf on his own adventure, and we kind of did, so that pretty much bugged me. And that's why I didn't want Olaf's own movie. It's just too much. After that movie before Coco, there's just no way. I can't watch that. The gang is then approached by a tribe of Northoldra led by Yelena, as well as Arendalian soldiers led by Lieutenant Destin Matthias, voiced by Sterling K. Brown, whom I discussed before, and Anna recognizes from a portrait in their castle. They become aware of Elsa's powers quickly, and Olaf even takes time to recap their last adventure together to everyone. And Olaf talks too much in this movie. I found him annoying. Soon they are attacked by the fire spirit, which starts to spread bright colored flames across everything. Elsa once again uses her ice magic to contain the flames. She then follows this fire spirit until it appears as nothing more than a little salamander named Bruni. And I thought he looked pretty cute. When he sees that Elsa means him no harm, he settles his flames and warms up to her, no pun intended. They hear the mysterious calling once again. After Anna gets Elsa, they run back to the ice statues Elsa made and realize that the girl who saved Agnar was Iduna, which I saw that coming from the opening scene, and it was that obvious. Meaning their mother was Northoldra, and the spirits rewarded her deed by giving her a daughter with powers. The revelation allows the Arendalians and Northoldra to form a truce, and that was a little too obvious for my taste. Kristoff meets a Northoldra ranger named Ryder, voiced by Jason Ritter, and doesn't that remind you of Flynn Rider from Tangled? Because it did to me as soon as they say the name, and the two of them bond over the way they treat their reindeer, specifically the way they give their reindeer voices. He tells Kristoff that because of the mist, most of the people there have only lived in the forest and have never seen the outside world. Elsa befriends Ryder's sister Honeymarin, who shows Elsa that, and in addition to the four main spirits, there is a fifth spirit that acts as a bridge between the other spirits, and that feels like the god-awful Last Airbender movie I just brought up not too long ago. After witnessing earth giants roaming across the land, Anna notices Kristoff is gone, not realizing he is with Ryder, who has tried to help Kristoff come up with an elaborate proposal. She takes off with Elsa and Olaf, which leads Kristoff to think she has gone away after learning this from Yelena. He expresses his sorrow, but also how strong his love for Anna is, and it was cute. It's just unfortunately not connecting with me. Anna, Elsa, and Olaf continue their journey until they come across the ruins of Agnar and Iduna's ship. Through the water memories, Elsa learns that they set off to find answers about Elsa's powers, even witnessing the final moments where they embraced as the waters consumed them. And it's funny Olaf said water has memories, because I did not know that, quite frankly. They search the ship until they find a map revealing that their parents were headed to the fabled river of Ethtolan. Forgive me if I said that wrong. Elsa knows she has to go there alone, so she sends Anna and Olaf away on an ice boat that she makes to express their anger over Elsa ditching them, even if she did it for their own good. The problem is that I'm not enjoying myself watching this movie because these are likable characters, but I just don't care as much as the first film. Elsa attempts to get Ethtolan across the water, but she keeps getting taken down by the water spirit, which appears as Nock, and thanks to the trailers, this scene is predictable. After taming the spirit, she rides it, and she follows the voice, eager to find out where it's coming from. Once she reaches Ethtolan, she comes across her own memories and learns that the voice is that of Iduna calling out to her. When Elsa tries to find out what went wrong, she learns the truth. Reneward wanted to subjugate the North Aldra by creating a dam to limit their resources due to their reliance on magic, which was predictable again thanks to the trailers, which Renard hated. When the North Aldra leader tried to reason with him, Renard murdered him while he was unarmed. Elsa gets too deep into Ethtolan, which causes her to turn to solid ice, but not before she sends this information to Anna. Before she and Olaf set off help, Olaf begins to disintegrate. Realizing something is wrong with Elsa, Anna holds Olaf and they reaffirm their love for each other before he is gone, which was sad, but I'm not crying. Anna sits alone in despair until she picks herself up and vows to push forward, and again it's sad, but I'm not crying. Anna knows that the dam must be destroyed, even if it means sending a flood toward Arendelle. She goes to wake up the Earth Giants and gets them to follow her toward the dam. Matthias sees this and tries to stop Anna, but after she convinces him that Elsa learned the truth about the dam and why it must be destroyed, he relents and lures the giants there. The giants hurl boulders to the dam, which breaks it and sends the water flowing toward the kingdom. Elsa is revived, and she rides on the Nock back to Arendelle, where she freezes the water and brings it down before it hits Arendelle, thus saving the kingdom and lifting the mist in the forest, freeing the soldiers in North Aldra. And that climax may be realistic for an animated film, but in real life, so it kind of bothered me. Not in real life, at least. Elsa reunites with Anna, and the two sisters hug. Kristoff and Sven run down there too, and Elsa revives Olaf. I'm like, oh great. Anna and Elsa determine that Elsa is the fifth spirit, which I saw coming, by the way, because of her powers. As she has become the bridge between the other spirits, Kristoff then finally manages to propose to Anna with something simple, and she excitedly accepts, which was about time. The giants then appear to show their respect and gratitude toward Anna and Elsa, which was a Disney cliche. After returning to Arendelle, Anna becomes the new queen as Elsa decided to stay in the forest where she is needed. The sisters regularly keep in touch, and Elsa rides the Knock back to Arendelle for a visit, and the ending is fine. I just don't want any more. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 5.3 out of 10. This movie is fine, but again, pretty overrated as the songs, which I'm not crazy about. Olaf did get on my nerves quite a bit, and these are likable characters, but my problem is I just don't care. This adventure was kind of a chore to get through, but I do take the kids. I just didn't have a bad time watching it, nor good. It's mediocre at best, and not as good as the first one. I'm not fishing for another one at this point. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for Frozen, and until then, do you want to build a snowman?